Hello! With supposed Battlefield 5 release later this year, the fans are over the moon. Battlefront was something more for a casual player, and Hardline, well, let's face it, an overall failed experiment. With rumors ranging from Battlefield 2142 to World War I as the main setting, it remains to be seen where DICE takes us this time. So let's dig deep into what fans really want from Battlefield 5. So, back in 2013, it was revealed that the next, let's say, core Battlefield game will come out in 2016. One of the rumors confirms it and says that the next Battlefield will be set in the time of World War I, while the other suggests that the next game will be primarily set in Japan. The other possibility, while saddening for most of the franchise's fans, is that the next Battlefield will be titled 2143 and will be a direct sequel to the 26's futuristic spin-off Battlefield 2142, where opposing forces clashed on an Earth ravaged by a catastrophe in a futuristic landscape. Let's examine the latter. It seems as if futuristic shooters are all the rage nowadays. Call of Duty has not one, but two miniseries, both with mechs and future-like weapons, being Black Ops and Advanced Warfare. This year, we'll see a return of Call of Duty Ghosts, but it's rather unlikely that Infinity Ward would do a direct follow-up to the 2013 shooter, as many fans have called it the worst Call of Duty in the years, and the creators of the phenomenal Modern Warfare seem to have clearly lost their mojo. Apart from that, Titanfall 2 is coming out somewhere between holiday season 2016 and the first quarter of 2017. The question is this: do we really need more futuristic shooters? World War I seems like a breath of fresh air in comparison, and it would be good to see Battlefield do something different and not follow the competition blindly. The biggest problem with World War I in video games is the gameplay. It's simply not as dynamic and enjoyable as World War II or modern conflicts. I mean, honestly, who wants to sit in the trenches all day? And that is precisely why the only good World War I game I can think of is not a shooter. It's an adventure game from Ubisoft called Valiant Hearts. Apart from the trenches, we would have a weapon shortage and not as many upgrade and modification possibilities as in Battlefield 3 or 4 for that matter. But let's be honest, do the developers at DICE concern themselves with realism and historical accuracy? I mean, sure, Battlefield 4 is realistic in a way. Jumping in and out of planes or having a team of 8 snipers jumping around aren't exactly what you see on the real quote-unquote Battlefield. A World War I game doesn't actually have to aim for realism and could go towards a steampunk or maybe a dieselpunk reimagining of the setting. If not, saying that World War I is overall boring for a game is a bit far-fetched. A game in this setting could focus on the final stages of the conflict, with 1918 being the go-to year, as it was the first year when flamethrowers and automatic pistols debuted on the battlefield. The developers could use that and emphasize the things we take for granted in modern shooters. What if we saw a tank for the first time ever and weren't equipped nor trained for such a thing? That would be fun. World War I can be exciting, but needs to be executed carefully. Not having hundreds of upgrades and frantic action does not mean that gameplay will be boring. It's about time World War I or World War II made a comeback, because we really could use some time away from mechs and drone strikes. Overall, I think it doesn't matter what neither we nor the hardcore fans want, because it's all about the sales and competing with other titles on the market, and seeing how EA handles things gives us a small clue about what to expect from the next Battlefield. Battlefield 4 was a game that was supported much longer than expected, and is certainly the fan favorite here. While looking at the stats of the PC version of the game, we see that even Battlefield 3 is being enjoyed by twice as many people as the flawed Hardline. Even Battlefront isn't as popular as the last numeric Battlefield, so to draw a conclusion, a less futuristic setting is a safe bet, as it clearly works for DICE and EA. Hardline proved that simply throwing in the core Battlefield gameplay into a different setting doesn't work. And since we're talking about things that don't work, let's take a look at the single-player campaign. While Call of Duty is the undisputed king of linear yet exceptionally choreographed campaigns, a story mode, so to speak, was never Battlefield's forte. Starting with Battlefield 3, DICE began to implement single-player campaigns, and well, with poor results. The third and fourth Battlefield weren't that original, and Hardline, well, no surprises here, had another thing in store to disappoint us with. It's a bit ironic seeing that so much effort and money goes into a campaign, while most players ignore it and go straight for the multiplayer once they get their hands on the game. With Star Wars Battlefront, the single-player mode was dropped altogether, and while the Star Wars shooter was overhyped and received many mediocre reviews, the sales satisfied EA. I mean, I bet they were satisfied because they were selling half a game for the full price! Anyway, it seems as if a campaign isn't something a big budget title necessarily needs. Titanfall ignored the campaign, while last year's Rainbow Six also focused only on the multiplayer component, and well, we can't complain. However, dropping the unnecessary campaign and staying away from the futuristic setting are the two things we'd love to see the most. How about you? For all the things games, recaps, top 10s and gameplay videos, stay tuned to GamePressure.com. See you around!